Yes, it will change. Things change. Things will evolve. I get asked often the question of, essentially, how can you embrace the cloud? Isn't this disruptive? Won't you make your money, Microsoft, in different ways? Won't you have to re-architect what you do and what your partners do? And the answer to all of those questions is, yes, we do. But that is the biggest opportunity, and it's the most important technology innovation in front of us. I like to tell our people sometimes when they're wondering about these big changes, I tell them, if you wanted a business that never changed, you probably wouldn't have gotten into the information technology business. So we're working on the cloud, but the way we do the cloud will have to change and enhance our relationship, for example, with hosting partners. And how does that all come together and work? As we bring to market products that are services, instead of just licensing software, we'll also be providing operational support for our customers, which will have a different, but I hope even more profitable economic model for the company, since we'll be delivering even greater value to our customers. So I see a lot of change, a lot of evolution, but a lot of opportunity. Well, in a sense, I would say Google's certainly the world leader in search. They are the world leader in search. We are the small player trying to innovate and do interesting things, but they are big Google. In the rest of the world of cloud computing, I would say we are very early in market development, and if anything, I would argue that our company is a leader. As you look at what people are doing, let's just say on the consumer side, with technologies like mail and instant messaging, Microsoft is #1 around the world. Not Yahoo, not Google. We are #1. We have over 500 million people using our mail system, our instant messaging and socialization platform. In the area of business cloud computing, we've already migrated literally many tens of thousands of corporations' users to use our cloud computing versions of Exchange, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online. There's nobody who's done as much in business cloud computing as we have, except maybe Salesforce.com, who's also done a good job. In platform cloud computing, the real leader today, probably more than anybody, might be Amazon. And yet, we're launching this month our Windows Azure and SQL Azure services to the market. And we feel like we have a real opportunity to excel because we're the only player that will give you a common platform in the cloud and in your corporate data center, which I think is very important. So, in the world of cloud computing, Google is king of search, and we're all going to work hard. In all other aspects of cloud computing, I feel like our company is at the front of the pack, and maybe the top other competitors aren't even Google. There are a bunch of other companies, as I named. Okay. Biggest problem. Depending on how you want to look at things, I got lots of problems, or we're very fortunate. If you ask me what do I spend the most amount of my time thinking about, it's probably continuing to be the best place we can be for having very brilliant people do their very best innovation. I happen to think Microsoft has a very good track record of having the best and the brightest people and enabling them to do their best work. And I think that's true today, but it's something that you have to, like a garden, tend to constantly. Because if you don't tend to it constantly, the garden gets filled with bad things. And so I constantly, I'll say, worry about it in the context of your question, even though I think we're doing very well. What was my happiest day since being CEO? I'd have to say I think it was the Windows 7 release, not the launch date, but the day the product was finished and delivered to the OEMs, to Fujitsu and NEC and Toshiba and Sony and HP and Dell and everybody else to make computers. That, I'd say, was probably my best day since being CEO, but it's also very recent, so I remember it the best. Well, it's a funny question because in some senses, we never evaluate anybody based on the things they can't control, only the things they can control. When people ask me, are you feeling very bad because your revenue was down this year compared to the previous year? I know our revenue was down because the economy was bad, and I don't feel like I could control that. I can control how happy we make our customers. We can control how well we innovate. We can control our market share. Similar, if you ask me about how Mr. Kikuchi's doing, I don't hold him responsible for the economy. That would not be sensible, I would say. And certainly, if you look particularly this year, so far, as we're 4 months into our financial year, our #1 performing subsidiary so far this year is actually Microsoft KK. So I'm quite pleased with the business here. Japan is the second largest market for Microsoft in the world. We have excellent partnerships, not only with companies doing work for the Japanese market, but exporting on a global basis. And I'm very pleased with our staff and the work Mr. Higuchi and his team are doing here in Japan. Obviously, you saw a number of new things in Internet Explorer 8. We have by far the most secure browser on the market. We did a lot of work on usability, new features for developers. It's a tough competitive environment, and we're going to have to keep moving and pushing quickly. You'll see, of course, after IE8, there'll be an IE9 and an IE10 and an IE11. There'll be new products and new releases. But partly, I think we need to get even more active with people building websites as well as people using websites to remind them of the advantages of Internet Explorer 8, because we really did move forward quite a bit. But it'll be a good competition really with Firefox. I mean, when you really look at it, the competitive environment is Internet Explorer and Firefox, and you have Apple and Google kind of on the side. But the real competition right now, and they're a good competitor. I think we're a good competitor too, and so you can, if you wanted to trend numbers, yes, you get to a lower number. I think we're going to see our market shares improve over time in the browser arena.